Hello and welcome to another episode of the Biased Football Review. I'm Jake and I'm joined again by... I'm not Jake, I'm Cameron and I'm joined by Jake. No,
You've
Lewis
taken
this time.
you want to be a Bournemouth fan this week, do you? You
No,
definitely
I
don't.
No, I don't. You can tell it's been a bit of a long Easter break, innit?
Yeah, yeah, it has, yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to be talking about the Premier League games this weekend. Where should we start, I guess?
I think there's only one place to start again. It's always obvious where we have to start every week, and it's always Man United, isn't it?
Every single week. I mean, it's a bit of a weird game, I think. I think the score doesn't really tell the entire story. Because you would think that United kind of went for it a bit and, it was a good game, they were in it. But, I mean, it was... if it wasn't for the Liverpool mistake for that first goal,
Yeah.
it would have been a completely different game. The first half was terrible. I don't know if you saw...
Yeah.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah.
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 14 shots, I think it was, for Liverpool in the first half, and 0 from Man United. Nothing really going forward, and it's just kind of similar to the midweek game as well. Just not really taking chances, mistakes letting us down.
Yeah, it's been rough for you this week, has it?
It's been a rough week. Yeah, I mean, the Chelsea game was, Onana had a bit of a mare in the first goal.
Yeah.
Bad penalties, another penalty again yesterday. It's been a rough week.
Yeah, I think with Liverpool, it's similar. It's a similar story to I think it was the Man City game where they drew, where they just had so many chances but they just didn't take them.
Yeah.
Like, is that an issue for Klopp going forward for the rest of the season? Do you think that could maybe be the reason that they don't win the title if they don't win it?
I think it could be because you look at how tight the race is at the minute. You can't really let a game like that get away from you. You've got to pick up a win there where you've got so many chances and you're not taking them. And it's been, like I say, a bit of a consistent thing. So if that carries on, there's not many games to pick up the wins that you need for the title at this point.
Yeah, now the advantage is with Arsenal, they're top of the league. The Liverpool's running, I think, looks easier than the other two, the games that they have. So I still would say they're probably favourites to win the title.
I think Arsenal is still the better team at the minute, and I think that will be the deciding factor.
Yeah, that's fair, I suppose. Should we talk about the goals? Let's start with Bruno Fernandes's goal because I know how much you like him.
Yeah, I mean good goal, pounced on an error.
It seems to be that goal that gets to see a lot of long range goals. I remember was it Cavani's?
Yeah,
yeah. It's just that goal in particular sees, for some reason, I think more action than the other goal at Old Trafford. I think it's noticeable. One of the few stadiums where it's actually noticeable where you see a lot of goals at that end. So who was it who made the mistake for that goal?
That is a good question. One of their centre backs, I think. I'm sure it was. I cannot remember who.
Yeah, fair.
But
you were just trying to block out all the memories of that game. I don't think it was. It was pretty. The scoreline is deceiving, but I don't think it was terrible for United.
I mean, I don't know. I think it is. I think it's just a consistent, performance where you're not really they're just not playing like a big team should play, right? They're not really going for it. They're hoping for a mistake or for someone to to create some magic or whatever, and it just doesn't feel like they can get wins, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because we're sixth, we're not going to get top 5 like that. It's not even happening.
I mean, if you're worrying about wins, don't worry. You've got us next. So
yeah,
yeah. You did score in the second minute or something, but it was offside.
Yeah. But
I did completely forget about that until just now. That's kind of how the game went.
Yeah,
it just felt like that was not even in that game. It was in a different game. That's how long ago it was, even though it was only yesterday. I think we have to talk about Mainoo's goal.
Great goal, wasn't it, Jake? How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's a good goal. It's a great,
Yeah.
good goal. I did want to say though, Curtis Jones I think could do a bit better. He kind of just
Yeah.
he's just like Mainoo has time to turn in the box like that. You can't give players time to turn in the
Yeah,
box, especially when you're Liverpool as well. Like, but yeah, it was a good goal, good finish.
Yeah, it was a great finish. Making your England squad?
Not my starting
Still
11. Not my starting 11.
On the bench? Got a spot on the bench?
He might do. He might do.
I'll take that.
I don't. That's because England don't really have any
Well,
midfielders that
true.
are that good. But yeah, I think no. My starting midfield is still Rice, Bellingham, and Foden.
Yeah, no, that is fair. I mean, it's definitely the strongest midfield.
Yeah, and I'll hold my hands up. I've been a bit harsh on Mainoo, but you know, I've never said that I don't rate him. I've said I don't rate him as highly as other people do. You know, but
I think that could be starting to change. Because I mean, I don't think you can name one bad performance from him so far.
Yeah, I guess, but he's not performing. It's not like he's performing 10 out of 10 every single week.
Near enough.
There are some weeks where it's just like a 6, which still still like good, but it looks better because everyone else on the Man United team is like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
So like, it's it's all perspective. Because if he was playing for a different team, he wouldn't. If he was playing for City, I don't think he'd start every game.
Well, yeah, but that's City, isn't it? Like,
if he was playing for like
players don't start for City.
I mean, I was going to say Liverpool, but with the number of injuries Liverpool have, he'd probably start.
Yeah.
Right, what game should we talk about next? I know you don't want to talk about United for that long this week.
I mean, I guess we got to move on to Bournemouth, right?
Do we have to? It's the story of our season. Like the Luton game is we had one shot on target all game.
Wow.
But we dominated the first half so much, and we had so many chances to score that we just missed. The game should have been out of Luton's hand, like out of reach for Luton. After the first half, we hit the post twice. I think crossbar once and post once in the first half, and I think it got to half time, and we were just like, "Well, we're only 1-0 up. We actually need to go for this." And then we kind of just let it slip at the back, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But you know, if Luton stay up because of it, I'm not going to complain because I think we had to draw that game to be mathematically safe, but we didn't. But I mean, we're not going to get relegated. Before that game, we were closer to the Champions League than we were to relegation. So
that's still a crazy stat to me. It just doesn't feel like it should be real, you know.
What that we're
closer to Champions League. I don't know.
We're still pretty close to you. It's annoying that all of the teams that like were just above us won or got points at the weekend because they've kind of. We're not going to get Europe now. We had the hopes of Europe for like 3 days after beating Crystal Palace midweek, and then we will come back down to reality a bit too quickly, I think.
Big win for Luton though.
Yeah,
massive win for Luton.
Huge win. They're now level on points with Forest, and I think only like 1 or 2 goals behind on goal difference as well. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it is pretty tight.
I haven't actually had a look at the run-ins that they have, but I don't know. I think Luton could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could. They're just, you know, they've got that spirit that they've had all season, and I think they can definitely pick up like at least 1 or 2 more wins that will keep them safe. I think.
Yeah, it's just depending on
what happens. With Forest.
Yeah, because I also think Brentford are in and about the relegation fight. I'm not entirely sure, but. Back to Bournemouth quickly. I think it really sums up how our season has gone. That Tavernier, the guy who scored our goal, he has performed pretty poorly all season. He was really, really good last season. He was like one of our best players last season. This season he's been really poor. Last couple of games he's been starting to get back to his form. He's finally scored. I think it's his third goal of the season because he scored twice against Sheffield United away, and. I think 2 minutes after he scored, he gets injured and has to come off, and I think he's out for the rest of the season. It's just that's how it's gone. Like I think Tyler Adams he's got set back to his injury, so he's played 1 or 2 Premier League games all season for us, and now he's not. I don't think he's going to play again.
It's just rough because he just hasn't seemed to get onto the pitch.
Yeah, and the one game that he played was I can't even remember. But anyway, whatever game that
That
was,
long ago.
it was because it was like only like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was actually only just over a week ago. It was whoever we played last weekend, but I can't even remember who that was.
No, off the top of my head, I can't.
Everton. It was Everton.
There we go.
When he played against Everton, it was he was like our best player, and yeah, he just hasn't played since. Bit sad.
Yeah.
Arsenal top of the league.
Sophie was just texting me yesterday, very happy about that. Although not happy that United didn't get the win against Liverpool, helping them out.
Yeah, but I mean, got a point.
Good
Arsenal
win.
are now top. Good win against Brighton. It kind of just looked a bit pedestrian for them, really.
Yeah, Brighton didn't really give too much. I mean, they're struggling recently. They've had a bit of a tough run.
Yeah,
But
if
yeah,
we're
it
talking
was just
about
a bit of an
Bournemouth
easy-
injuries, I think we need to talk about Brighton injuries because that's
Yeah.
even worse.
Yeah, I mean, you talk all day about Brighton's injuries, the
Yeah.
amount that they've had, it's just non-stop for them, really. But yeah, I mean, I think weekend it was just another kind of story of them not being able to score goals, so they just don't have anything going forward, really. Kind of similar to Brentford's. I think they played midweek.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, pretty routine for Arsenal. 3-0.
3-0. 3 pretty good goals, I think.
Yeah.
I think Trossard's goal, I think,
yeah.
kind of just topped off the performance, really. It was just,
It's his old club.
yeah. Got booed when he came on.
Yeah.
And he had to do it to them. I think Ben White as well. He got booed quite a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, that did you see that dive from Ben White?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was just shocking. I don't know what he's doing there.
I mean, you gotta play the game,
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. You can't be doing that.
He's playing the villain against his old club,
Yeah, well,
I think,
Anyway.
yeah, as I said, Arsenal top of the league. It's kind of, they've got the advantage now. But as I said, their run-in, I think, is the most difficult. And they do look like the best team in the Prem right now. Better than City, better than Liverpool, in my opinion. But I can see them slipping up against probably Tottenham away. They've also got you away, I think, as well. They've got United away at some point.
I don't think they slip up against that.
I think
I mean, did you see what Klopp said after the game yesterday? That if United play like they played yesterday against Arsenal, Arsenal will win easily.
okay.
Which is a bit of a weird thing to say because that sounds like him basically saying Arsenal are better than Liverpool.
Yeah, well, I mean, they are. Right now,
yeah,
I think
but-
they are. But they're also because they don't have as many...
Admit, is it? Like,
Yeah, they don't have as many injuries as
but
Liverpool
yeah,
either. But I think they could also slip up, even at home against Aston Villa, although they have fallen off a cliff recently.
yeah. Even that, I don't see. I think Arsenal look too good right now.
I think it's just
Um,
recent seasons in my mind that Arsenal, they're going to slip up at some point.
Yeah, it does feel like that. I do get that. That's the one reason why I would say that they wouldn't win the league, just because, until you see them do it, you just can't really trust them.
Yeah, it's. I want them to win the league more than I want Liverpool or City to
Yeah,
win.
Same.
But, and I did say like a couple of weeks ago, I think it was like maybe our first podcast episode that I said, for me, I think they're going to win the league.
Mhm.
And you and Lewis were both like,
yeah,
Liverpool.
I do still think Liverpool, but
I don't
I
know.
would rather Arsenal.
I don't know, because City are still in it as well. That's the thing. Like, and it's City.
Yeah,
They haven't lost since, I don't even know, what was it, December? Or January, beginning of January, something like that.
I just don't want to speak City into existence because of what another title would mean.
Yeah. So should we talk about City? Because 4-2 against Crystal
Yeah.
Palace.
Kevin De Bruyne got a century of goals, didn't
Yeah.
he? It's pretty amazing.
I'll be honest, I watched bits of the game. I didn't watch all of
I
it.
didn't watch too much of that game.
It was like, it was the same as watching City has been for the past 2 years. It was kind of boring, even though they won 4-2. Like, there was 6 goals. And it was just kind of like, I was just watching them pass around outside Crystal Palace's box, and then, they've scored. And then it was just like, yeah, it was kind of inevitable they were going to win that game from the moment the first ball was kicked. Even when they went behind, I was like, well, they're still going to win it. And like, they don't. I don't know. It feels weird to say this because they've scored 4 goals twice in a row now, 2 games in a row. But they don't feel like the same City as they did last year at this point. It does feel like they're a bit more frail defensively. Because this time last season they were winning like 2-0, 3-0 most games. 4-2, and it's Crystal Palace as well. Like, we kept a clean sheet against Crystal Palace twice this season. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. But then I don't. I mean, I think it's been a bit of a thing with City, even though they still insane. There's a different kind of feel about them. I think this season where they've not felt like the team the past few years, and I don't really know what it is. Like, and I think more than just defensively as well. Just sort of, even though they're still ridiculous, it just I don't like something feels sort of off, and I don't know why or like, and it's not like off. I mean, because they're still third, like 70 points or whatever. But there's just a weird feeling about City, I think, this season.
Do you think they're over reliant on one person? I'm not going to say Haaland for that one person. I feel like last season everyone thought it was Haaland, but I think it's Rodri. Because, like, I don't think did he start? I think he came on at half time.
Yeah, I think so.
And
I don't think
it was 1-1 at half time, wasn't it? Was it 1-1? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was 1-1 at half time, and then he comes on and then they win 4-2. Like, I don't know. I feel like, because, I mean, everyone's seen the stat where Rodri's like, he's not lost, or like barely lost, for like the last 2 seasons when he's played.
I think it's like 1 or 2.
Yeah, and then when he doesn't play, they lose pretty much every game. So I think, I think they're just too reliant on Rodri, like, holding that midfield together, holding the whole team together, basically. And then, I mean, Haaland's form this season has been a bit up and down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can say he's had a poor season because he's still the top goal scorer in the league. But I think is he joint now with Watkins? Did Watkins score twice? I think he.
Yeah.
I think he might be either. Watkins is either one behind him or joint top with Haaland. But I mean, Haaland's still top, but it doesn't feel like he's done much recently. I mean, oh no, because Haaland scored one actually, didn't he, against Crystal Palace? So he'll still be top.
Yeah. Haaland has 19. Yeah. Haaland has 19. Watkins has 18. Yeah.
How many Solanke on? Still 16, I think, right?
16.
Yeah. Joint most goals in a Premier League season for a Bournemouth player with Josh King.
Wow.
And he's still got, 7 games?
Still a few games to break that.
Yeah. I mean, he got to that milestone like 2-3 games ago. But he's overdue a goal because he doesn't really ever go more than 2 games without scoring. So, and we got United next.
Yeah, it's going to be another 3-0, isn't it?
I'm not too sure. Haven't been performing amazingly. Crystal Palace, I mean, they're safe, probably, most likely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this season it's been one of the most Crystal Palace seasons ever.
I think Crystal Palace are just they just want to get to next season at this point,
I think if Elise and Eze leave, I think they could be in serious trouble next season.
Yeah.
I mean, Glasner, he's going to get his own players in, so maybe we'll see, a slightly different Crystal Palace. But I think Elise will leave in the summer, even though he's been injured for most of this season. Not too sure about Eze. I feel like he's the more likely to stay out of the two. But
see, I feel like it's the other way around.
Really?
I think just
maybe they'll both just leave.
Injury. I don't think they'll both leave. I think they realistically need to keep one of them, because I think if they lose both, they are going to be in trouble.
You get a lot of money for both of them, though. You could get a lot of players in.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Crystal Palace, and other than Eze, Elise, maybe Gehi, who do they really have? Like, they don't have anyone that I look at and go, okay, I want them at Bournemouth or whatever. Other than those 3, I don't know. It's kind of they're in a tough place. They're in a transitional phase, but it feels like they've been in that transitional phase for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So because Zaha left right in the summer, but it does feel like he hasn't been there for ages because he hasn't.
It feels that way, yeah.
It's rough for Crystal Palace right now, but I mean they'll be safe. I don't think they're going to go down. There's a lot of teams that are worse off than them right now.
Yeah, I think they just need to, get to the summer, change things, get Glasner his players, and I mean, they'll probably have a good season next year, I think.
Yeah, it's funny because when we played against them midweek and we beat them, I saw on Twitter loads of Crystal Palace fans just going, "Oh, we should beat Bournemouth. We should why are we losing to Bournemouth?" I'm like, we've got better players than you. Like you've only got Isaiah and Elise is injured, and so is Gehi. Gehi's injured as well. So like realistically, I know. I think we're kind of on the same kind of level as Crystal Palace right now, and we just had less injuries, or fewer injuries to key players rather.
Yeah.
I think Lewis would want us to talk about Tottenham as well, especially as they won. He couldn't be here to talk about them today, but
I mean, it was a good performance from Tottenham.
Yeah, it
3-1,
was,
wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Wood should be scoring twice rather than just once.
Yeah.
Don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
He was. So I think it was parried out by Vicario straight to him, and he was like maybe 3 yards out, and he hits the post.
Oh yeah. I don't even know how. I can't even imagine how you missed that.
I mean, it's I don't know. It's annoying because I did kind of want Tottenham to lose, especially after Bournemouth lost and you drew.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, Lewis is going to be unbearable in the group chat. But I mean, it was kind of inevitable that they'd win. Good goal by Van de Ven. Who scored Tottenham's first? Own goal, Murillo. Oh yeah, that is quite funny to be fair, because Nottingham Forest fans like to pretend that Murillo's like the best centre back outside the top 6 this season or something, but I mean, he's really not. He did almost score from his own half though against Tottenham. Like, just it was actually very close, and it would have been quite funny for it to go in because it's Tottenham. But yeah, good goal by Van de Ven. Good goal by who was the last? Porro. Good goal by Porro. Yeah, it was kind of. I think it's a game that we can't really talk much about because no one expected anything else. I mean, Chris Wood opened the scoring.
To win that, right?
Yeah,
I wouldn't have. Yeah.
Did Chris Wood open the scoring, or was it Murillo own goal first?
Yeah, the own goal was first.
Okay, yeah.
And then Chris Wood.
Yeah, I think Tottenham have probably got 4th place now. I feel like Aston Villa are close to them, but the form that they're in. But I mean, as I've said before, it is Tottenham, so you never know what's going to happen with them. But
I mean, they are level on points, Villa and Tottenham.
Yeah, Villa have got Arsenal away next though.
Yeah, because
and they won't have Douglas Luiz for that game because he's got suspended for 2 games for picking up 10 yellows.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think Tottenham might just take it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's got to the point now where I think Aston Villa are just hoping that 5th place is Champions League next season because it's hard because they don't have that European like experience recently. This is their first season in Europe for I don't even know how long. But like they have good squad depth, but they don't have enough to really push on and finish and get 4th place secure, along with performing well in the Conference League. I think Tottenham, even though they're not, I think not being in Europe this season has actually helped them because they don't have anything else to worry about. They're out of the out of the cups. Pretty. When did they get knocked out of the cups?
Pretty early, right?
Yeah, because they played City in the FA Cup in like the 3rd round, I think, and then they lost. It was either 3rd or 4th. I just can't remember. But yeah, I think they've just had only the league to focus on this season. They had some injuries, but they're all back now pretty much. I think they're going to go on a run at the end of the season, take 4th place from Aston Villa.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I think they certainly look like the best team out of the 2 at the minute. Probably got the best run in them, I'd say. Out the 2. I mean, Arsenal away for Villa is not going to be an easy game.
They've also still got to play Liverpool at home as well.
Have they? Yeah.
I think that's their last home game of the season. Talk about Forest. Rough result for them.
Yeah.
Level on points now with Luton.
Yeah, I mean this stage where you really want to be picking up any points you can get. You don't really want to be losing.
Yeah.
So it's, a bit of a tough one for Forest.
When you get an equaliser as well against Tottenham, you kind of want to, because it's Tottenham, you kind of hope that you can hold on for that. But I don't know. I think this season Spurs have been a bit better at not falling apart like they have before. Forest, I think they'll get relegated. I actually do.
Think so. I think Luton will pull it off.
Yeah,
I think they'll stay up.
I think we could talk about Burnley now. Even like their recent performances, I think they were like unbeaten in. I think they want maybe like unbeaten in the last 3, and then they just. I don't even remember what the result was this weekend. It was
1-0 to Everton, I think.
Yeah, it was. That is a tough result for them to take.
Yeah.
But I think it's they've performed well recently. I mean, they drew against Chelsea. Was that last week? The week before?
I think that was last week. I think that was before they played United.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what Vincent Kompany said to them, but I think I'll be honest. I think the changing goalkeeper has helped them a lot. As much as everyone rates Trafford highly, I don't know. I just don't think he's the one. He makes too many mistakes. I think Muric is just more. He's a safer pair of hands, even literally. Like he doesn't have as many mistakes in him as Trafford does. And I think as many good saves as Trafford makes, I don't think like those good saves are not gonna keep you up. It's not making mistakes. That's what's going to keep you up. And I think with that, and also, I mean, Fofana, he's hit a bit of form. Got a couple of good goals in him, as we've seen. I think they could definitely challenge Luton and Forest and even Brentford. I think it's just a bit too late.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. It kind of feels like it's like, well, it's the end of the season. We've not really got anything to play for. Let's just go out and just go for it. And it's come with a few good performances. But I think it's going to be a bit too late to really make a genuine challenge to stay up, I think.
Yeah, they've given themselves too much of a mountain to climb. And then we could talk about Everton as well, because I think that result probably now maybe one more win and then they'll be safe.
Yeah, I mean, they're only 4 off relegation.
But really, so seven. If they get one more win, there'll be 7 points.
Yeah.
And with, I don't know how many games left, like 6 games after, if they win the next game, it'll be 6 games left or something like that.
Something like yeah.
I think that could be enough. And also, they've broken a streak streak of not winning. I think it's like 13 games or something.
Yeah, 13 winless games.
So that's a pretty big result for them, especially against Burnley, who had a good patch of form, and also below them as well. It's the perfect result really for Everton, keeping a clean sheet as well. That's important for them. I don't know who they have next, but I feel like if it's a team in and around them, it's going to be something like Brighton, isn't it?
No, Burnley have got Brighton next.
Okay.
Everton have got Chelsea, so that's going to be a bit of a tough one.
Nah, they'll win that. Chelsea just drew against Sheffield United, which is a good segue into talking about that.
Yeah. Should
Sheffield United have got a red card? I don't know if you watched like highlights of it or anything.
No, I'll be honest, I missed that. It's a hard weekend to watch. There was so much football going on, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I
actually
on top
of everything.
I only watched the highlights last night, but I think Robinson for Sheffield United was lucky he didn't get sent off. And I think the only reason Chelsea drew that game is because they took Palmer off. If they kept Palmer on, they'd probably, even though they conceded in the 93rd minute, they probably scored in the 95th or something. Got a penalty.
Yeah.
I feel like Chelsea have got more penalties than anyone else this season.
Yeah, I mean, most of Palmer's goals have been penalties, haven't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels
I'm interested to find out the stats in that. How many penalties they've got?
A lot is the answer.
Yeah,
definitely a lot. But I mean, it just sums up Chelsea's season, doesn't it? Really, 2-2 against the team that's bottom. I mean, we drew 2-2 against the team that's bottom, but us and Chelsea are kind of like battling for like 10th. So I think it's a good result for Sheffield United, as we've said. But really, you need to be winning games when you're down there, not
Yeah.
drawing, especially when
I mean, they're
Burnley.
bottom now. Like, you got to
Yeah.
be picking up.
Burnley have
more
been
than just a
winning.
draw.
Luton won.
Yeah.
Brentford got a point as well. So it's kind of, again, it's too late. It's too late for Sheffield United. They're down.
There's no way they stay out.
What do you think the problem at Chelsea is this season and last season?
I mean, I think it starts from the top. I think, ownership, man. I mean, you could just say anything really. Everything looks like an issue at Chelsea, really. I mean, none of the transfers really have worked out besides Palmer. It's just a mess. Like, the entire team. It's so hard to put a finger on it because everything just feels like it's wrong at Chelsea. No one, besides Palmer, no one has gone there and looks like they're enjoying it,
Yeah, I think
Casiado looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah,
It's, it feels like an awful environment to be in. And I don't know why. It's definitely something weird going on behind the scenes, I think.
I think one player who I think is, other than Palmer, who has increased their stocks this season, especially recently, and I think it's a bit of a surprise, is Mudryk. I think he hasn't been as bad as he was last season and the beginning of this season. He hasn't been as bad like the last couple of weeks. He's finally scored a couple of goals.
Yeah.
Not many, but...
it's an improvement.
Yeah, and I think, he's still, I don't know how old he is, he's still pretty young. He's pretty raw talent as well. So yeah. I think he's one player who could be happy with his performances recently. But other than that, as you said, Caicedo is just, I don't even know what's happened to him.
Yeah, it's a completely different player to who he was at Brighton.
He made a mistake for one of United's goals at midweek as well.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to quickly talk about one of the United players because I feel like I've watched them a couple of times recently, especially recently this season, and they're just, I don't think they've touched the ball when I've been watching them. Casemiro.
Yeah.
He's just fallen off a cliff. He needs to retire to save face right now.
He looks like his legs have just gone. He just doesn't. Every single time he goes out there, he just looks aghast from minute one. He just looks like he's got nothing in there. And
is that
you don't really notice
him, or is that Man United? That's just taking it out of him. If he goes to a different club, will he perform better? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's just watching his performances. I couldn't really see how going to a different club would really change too much because United aren't great, but there are players in there that perform. To just do nothing is I think that is a bit more of a testament to how he is as a player currently.
Is that a key position then in the summer that you need to strengthen?
Yeah, potentially. I think we have more glaring issues, but we might have to look at it.
Because I don't really know who else you have to play there. Amrabat, but we could talk about him for a while, couldn't we?
I think if Mason Mount can stay fit, my starting midfield would be him, Bruno, and Mainoo, without a doubt. And then maybe you just bring someone in for the bench. But yeah, I think we've got too many issues to be focusing on trying to replace Casemiro at the minute.
Where is Van der Beek? I've just completely forgotten about him. I just remember him.
I think he got sent on loan. I can't remember.
Yeah, but
it was either loan or a permanent transfer. I can't remember where.
I think somewhere in Germany. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Hoffenheim, something like that. I don't know.
A little quick Google.
Yeah, you do a quick Google. I'll move us on to a different game. Shall we go? I can't remember what other games have been played this weekend. Who did Wolves play?
Wolves played West Ham.
They did, and
Van
they
der Beek
lost.
Is at Frankfurt now. On loan.
Frankfurt, yeah, okay. They lost 2-1, and there was late controversy, VAR.
Yeah, the offside, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was blocking the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It's offside.
It is offside.
It's offside. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they give it, sometimes they don't. But I think they should give it every time. and so that one isn't the mistake. It's the one times they
Hmm.
haven't given it, and
Yeah.
that's what the error with VAR. Ward-Prowse scoring straight from a corner. Get him on the plane.
Just
I'm
got set
joking.
pieces.
I'm joking, of course. Although I wouldn't be against it over someone like Henderson. Like, obviously, you'd want Mainoo.
Yeah.
I'd probably say, yeah, okay, Mainoo, I'll give it to him. But if we're not going to take Mainoo and we're going to take Henderson, just take Ward-Prowse instead of one of those. Henderson, Phillips, or who else? Gallagher, even.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Ward-Prowse is probably better than those three. But West Ham, they've, had a bit of a rough time recently, but beating Wolves, a team again that's also pushing for Europe. Pretty good result for them. I think Wolves probably should be a bit disappointed, especially I think it was pretty late that Ward-Prowse scored.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I can't remember exactly when, but it was late on in the
And
game.
you shouldn't really be conceding straight from a corner. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It happens, but it doesn't happen too often.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw it.
I
Besides
don't remember the
this,
last time. I do remember the first season Bournemouth in the Prem. We scored from a corner against Man United at home. I think it was 90 seconds into the game or something like that.
I do remember that one.
Stanislas, over De Gea. But, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Wolves. And I think, Wolves, I don't think they'll get Europe this season. I think, it's a good season for them. Great season,
Yeah.
actually. But I feel like the teams that are pushing for Europe and look like they're going to get Europe, I think they're the teams that are going to get it. I don't see like a surprise from now to the end of the season. I don't see like a Wolves or Fulham or even Bournemouth or even Chelsea. I don't see any of those teams getting towards Europe. I think it's kind of
Chelsea aren't far off, to be fair.
It's true, and even though it's close, I think a gap will form over the next couple of weeks, and that will be that. I think the table where it is right now is kind of pretty much where I think it will finish. I think that it will,
I think
Liverpool might end a couple of weeks on top, but I don't know. I think Arsenal could do it. I think in European places, I think they'll swap around a bit, but I think in the end it will probably come back to what it is. We've got Newcastle to talk about as well.
Yeah. What was their result?
They beat Fulham 1-0, I think. And for them, that's
good
pretty
win for Newcastle.
Pretty good result. They've stopped the slide. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? See what happens next week. They've got a lot of injuries. Probably most injuries in the whole league. I think them, Brighton, and Luton right now are probably the teams with the most injuries, and we lost against Luton. But yeah, good win. Again, Fulham is a team that is just below the European places that are looking to maybe push on. And was it at Craven Cottage?
It was, I think.
Because I
I think it was,
I saw somewhere. I think Fulham this season at home, if we just looked at their home results, were like 8th in the league or something, or 9th in the league, and their away results they were 15th. And so it was a bit. And I was like, well, they're playing Newcastle at home. Newcastle got loads of injuries. I think Fulham will win this. Muniz is in a good run of form. What, they didn't even score. It was 1-0 on it.
Yeah, 1-0 Newcastle.
It's a pretty shocking result, to be fair, considering what's happened recently. But I think if you looked at it in terms of form, it's a shocking result. If you just looked at it, Fulham Newcastle, I don't think it's that much of a surprise.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at the stats, that you would think Fulham should have got. I mean, they look like the better team. More possession, more shots. Kind of surprising that they didn't get something from that game.
Do you think we're moving towards back towards a more Mourinho style of football is better than more attacking? Because it does seem to be like, maybe it's just that some teams just aren't clinical enough these days. But to be fair, you look at City, you look at the best teams to do it, City and Arsenal probably in the Premier League, they're still winning games. But maybe it's just you need the right players, and the teams are trying to replicate it, and it's just not working. Because we talked about even Liverpool, they weren't clinical enough. We talked about Bournemouth, not clinical enough. We're talking about Fulham, not clinical enough despite dominating. I mean, we're not football tactics experts, really, are we? But
No.
I feel like it's the players that you're trying to replicate quite a difficult style with. Is they're just not good enough to do that. I mean, you look at Bournemouth. The only other than Solanke, I think the only goal scorer that we have is Semenyo, and he's not up there like at the top really. So you're relying on one person to convert all of your chances. And I mean, he's done well this season, but again, it's like, would we perform better if we weren't playing that style? I don't know. It's hard to, it's if buts and maybes really, in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we looked at last season, we were playing a more defensive style and we were worse. So who knows? But I think it's just a matter of being clinical. A lot of teams struggle with that and have struggled with that. I mean, Chris Wood missing from 3 yards, I think, exemplifies that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What other games do we have to talk about? I think that's it, isn't it?
Pretty much, I think. Certainly out of the important ones.
Oh, Aston Villa Brentford, of course.
Oh, yeah, 3-3.
Do you want to start on that?
Yeah, I mean, what was it? 2 goals from Watkins?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a bit of a bad result for Villa.
Yeah, definitely.
Good result for Brentford, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of a weird game, I guess.
I think it's a bad result for both teams. I think if you look at it, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, okay, Brentford got a point against a team near the top. They're trying to move away from the relegation zone, that kind of thing. But if you look at it, if you score 3 goals away from home, you'll be wanting you need to win that game.
Yeah, I mean they conceded late, didn't they? The Watkins goal.
Yeah, you've got to hold on for that. Like you can't let that get away from you. It's because they were they 2-0 down and then they came back to 3-2 and then it was 3-3.
Yes, yeah, it was that.
You can't.
Yeah,
you can't come back from 2-0 down.
Yeah.
And still not win.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, you got to hold on to that, especially away from home.
Yeah, but I guess maybe because it was away from home, the Villa crowd got frustrated at their players, and then that kicked them on to get the. I mean, it's Watkins as well. Like he's gonna score. It's a kind of inevitable, especially when he's playing against, a lower half table team. He's gonna score. I mean, we've had the same experience, conceding late to Watkins to make it 2-2. It's frustrating, but you've got to win that game as Brentford, because you're not going to get many opportunities for the rest of the season, especially when you're in the relegation fight. You're not going to get many opportunities where you're leading away from home against a top team. You've got to take that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll still take that point though.
Yeah. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things. I
don't know what their run of games is during the season, but
they have us. I know that much. That's our last home game, I think.
Yeah, then Newcastle, Fulham, Everton, Luton, Sheffield. So I mean, that's
Luton, that would be a big game. That'd be a really big game. Is it?
It's Brentford are away.
Oh yeah, no, Luton will win that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But it does sound like they have pretty winnable fixtures.
Yeah. I mean, Sheffield United at home next week.
They've got Everton, did you say as well?
Yeah, Everton away, Fulham at home.
Yeah.
Newcastle at home. So, winnable games in there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think they'll be fine then. I think it's just between Nottingham Forest and Luton then, really, for the last relegation spot.
I think Luton will take it. I really hope they do. I want them to stay up.
I want them to stay up as well. Is it I want them to stay up, or is it I want Nottingham Forest to go down? I don't know. It's kind of 50-50 on that one.
For me, it's definitely Luton stay up. I don't really care too much about Nottingham Forest. If they stay up, stay down. I don't mind. I
just like hating on Nottingham Forest because, I don't know. To be fair, I kind of want them to stay up because they're an easy 3 points for us. But, I don't remember. I think the last time we lost against them was like 2013 or something, 2014, something like that. But it's an interesting weekend of fixtures. A couple of twists in there, with Liverpool dropping points. I'll be honest, I didn't see that happening. Luton winning. It's made it interesting. And I think next week we've got definitely one interesting game that we could talk about.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting podcast next week, let's say that, depending on what happens.
Yeah. I'm
Honestly,
kind of not
I
looking
hope
forward
it's
to
not a
it.
draw, because that will be a bit boring.
It'll definitely be a draw. It'll be 0-0.
Yeah.
Although actually,
Well, I don't
defensively,
know.
you're not that good. So
Yeah. That's that. Even if you're not good going forward, you'll probably still score, because someone in that defence will make a mistake.
yeah, they'll make a mistake and it'll be 2 yards out and we'll miss. That's the story of our season.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week, interesting podcast. Hopefully Lewis will be back for that one as well.
Hopefully. I mean, well, we start lectures again next week, so he should
Yeah,
be
he
back.
should be back. Yeah, so it'd be a good podcast. So make sure you listen to that. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.